When I play Sejuani top, I want to be an independent tank, so I want to have the max tankiness to be able to survive in teamfights and enough damage to be able to fight my enemies by myself. To reach this goal, I buy my items carefully with different analysis and game plans every game. My most standard build that can work in most situations is Frostfire, Fimbulwinter, Stoneblade. If you want to turn off your brain, you can use this build every game and you will be very tanky against all your enemies. To have the most success in your games, you should analyze yourself, your teammates and your enemies to know what you can do and then prepare a game plan about what you want to do. To have the most success, you should do this even from early game. The items for Sejuani are usually classified in two different types: defensive items and aggressive items. Early game. To build Sejuani correctly in early game, you must ask yourself this question: do I need more defense to be able to stand my opponent? If the answer is yes, build some defensive items. If the answer is no, build some aggressive items or focus your gold on your mythic item. Let's see some examples. In this game, the enemy top is Aatrox. Aatrox counters Sejuani, but he isn't putting pressure on me. He is just poking me with Q1. He sometimes misses his combo, and I could get an easy solo kill on him. Now let's make the question: do I need more defense to be able to stand my opponent? My answer here was no. So I used my gold to buy Bami, an aggressive item. Thanks to my decision, I had enough damage to solo kill Aatrox again and again. Thanks to this, I could snowball, becoming very strong in teamfights, making a big top diff and easily winning the game. In this game, the enemy top is Wukong. This matchup is favorable for him, and he has good mechanics. Even he tried to kill me under tower, and it was close. Now let's make the question: do I need more defense to be able to stand my opponent? My answer here was yes. So I used my gold to buy 2 cloth armors and refillable potion, defensive items. Thanks to my decision, I was able to tank Wukong's combos and give him some good traits, so he couldn't pressure me again like in the first minutes, and I could have a good lane with good CS. Even I could get a solo kill. Thanks to this, I could snowball, becoming very strong and an important threat for the enemies in mid-game.
Enemy double kill. I will rule the
Mid-game. In mid-game, you can have small fights and team fights. You should recognize what type of damage you will receive and who will be the enemies that will deal damage to you. Some examples analyzing the type of damage. Mixed damage, stone plate. 2+ enemies with strong healing, Thornmail. 2+ AD auto-attacker enemies, one of these. Full AP, Force of Nature. Only one high DPS threat, Anathema's Chain, and so on. Let's see some examples. In this game versus Gragas, the enemies are Yasuo, Samira, Lee Sin, AD champions with strong healing. This Gragas that isn't fed and he is building only ability haste, so he doesn't have enough damage to kill me. And Nautilus, a tank support. The enemies are 5 good champions to dive onto Miss Fortune and Veigar, so in teamfights the enemies won't focus their damage on me. With this analysis I decided to buy Thornmail as third item. It is an aggressive item, good against multiple AD champions with strong healing. And even when I didn't have any magic resist, Gragas' damage wasn't threatening to me, as expected. Thanks to my decision, we could easily win the next teamfight and the game. In this game, the enemies are Ornn, Rammus, Ahri, Lethality Senna, champions with some burst damage but very low DPS, and Kai'Sa, the only one source of high DPS. She is also very fed and has very good mechanics. With this analysis, I decided to buy Anathema's Chains as third item to reduce the DPS from Kai'Sa and her tenacity. With these items and just one null magic mentor, all the another enemies didn't have enough damage to kill me as expected. I could easily tank them 1v3 for 15 seconds. Thanks to my decision, I could stand Kai'Sa some extra seconds in the fights and give her longer stuns, so my teammates had extra time to kill her. And after some close fights, we could win the last team fights and the game. In this game, the enemies are Timo, Fiddlesticks, Cassiopeia, Lulu, full AP champions, and Caitlyn, the ADC. Caitlyn is building Gale Force with RFC, so her DPS will be low. With this analysis, I decided to buy Force of Nature as third item, to be very tanky and able to stand all the enemies. Thanks to my decision, I was able to tank all these enemies with high magical DPS. And I still had enough tankiness for Caitlyn, being able to solo kill her without any counterplay, with just 80 armor. In teamfights, the enemies were dealing much damage, but they couldn't kill me, and we could easily win the teamfights and the game.